So Mel Kiper is back at it again, you guys, with his I think what is this, his third mock draft. We're gonna cover he did 2 rounds. We're gonna cover the picks, all that and more on this, the No Horsing Around podcast. So Mel Kiper of NFL draft fame, right? First of all, missed y'all. Excited to be back. Released another one of his mock drafts, kind of one of the latest ones. We're 2 weeks out from the draft at this point. Free agency, the waves have kind of come and gone. You've kind of signed who you think you're going to sign, but he's released his mock draft, rounds 1 and 2, and I don't hate it. Sometimes I don't like what he does. Obviously, way back in the very first rendition, I kind of raged against the idea of Keon Coleman, even though I love Keon Coleman. I kind of raged against that. But so he kind of keeps it pretty steady, and if you're looking, I'm not going to go through all the guys, right, that he has picking and where they have going. But in regards to who the Colts have shown potential interest in, he's got Brock Bowers going 10 to the Jets off the board. He's got Quinyon Mitchell going 12 to the Broncos. That's off the board. So when we get to 15, who does he have the Colts picking? He has Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. And I think that's a really solid pick. I mean, Bama corners have done generally pretty well in the NFL. They've transitioned really well over the years, especially when obviously, he's retired now, but Nick Saban coached the secondary. When you're talking about he played the last 2 years. You look over his overall, how has he done, right? I mean, 5 picks last season, won the season before, 63 tackles. Definitely comes in, takes over one side of the defense at a position of much need in regards to cornerback. I like that pick. It could have gone a lot of different ways. When you look over the rest of his first round, I mean, there are some people, Cooper DeJean still on the board, that's a much talked about pick that could potentially be for the Colts. Jared Verse is still on the board. Do you do that? And Xavier Worthy is one that you guys know I love, but is 15 too high? He has him going 23rd, but he's still on the board. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., that's a big one. Everyone's all over. That's 28th. I mean, so you do have some good players still on the board. Could go 1 or 2. It's the ultimate conversation, right? Like, are they going to go wide receiver or are they going to go corner? That's kind of where we're at when we're talking about the Colts. When you fast forward to kind of round 2, as it pertains to the Colts, Keon Coleman's off the board. Michael Penix Jr., that's an interesting one. He has him going to the Rams. I think that's pretty interesting. But then you kind of roll around and then you get sad when you see this one, right? Ricky Parasol going to the Titans. I just don't like the idea of him going. I think he's a good match, but you hate to see him go to the Titans. That's the thing, right? But you kind of keep going, fast forward, get down to the Colts pick at 46. You have him taking Troy Franklin, wide receiver out of Oregon. I think that's a really good one too. I think that's not bad. Troy Franklin, very deep, very vertical threat. I mean, you're looking just last year alone, average 17.1 yards per reception, 300 yards, 14 touchdowns. Oh, Stephen, maybe he's a one-year wonder. No, 9 touchdowns the year before, 891 yards. So, I mean, and he was averaging 14.6 yards per catch. So, I mean, he is a very talented receiver. I think when you're looking at receivers, especially when you're looking in this draft and you're looking over this, I like these first 2 picks. If this is the way it shook out for the Colts, I'd be pretty happy with the first round, I think. But when you're looking at receivers, you've heard everybody talk about this, right? Like, you're looking for what you don't have. You've got a guy who can go across and get you the yards and first downs, and Josh Downs, who y'all know I love. You have Michael Pittman Jr., who's going to get you those tough yards, and he's going to get you chunk yards. You're missing that vertical stretch the defense threat where, you can just let Richardson drop back and just chuck the ball, right? Like, I live in Tennessee, you guys know that. And one of the things that gets discussed on the radio a lot is the draft. And one of the guys I listen to on the radio quite a bit is Jared Stillman. And he discussed that his biggest fear in regards to the Colts is that they're going to get that guy who they're just going to let Anthony Richardson just chuck the ball because he thinks as long as Anthony Richardson stays healthy, he's going to be very special, right? So, I mean, looking over, I have a lot of gripes a lot of times when it comes to Mel Kiper. I don't really have any with this one. You get a starting probably day one corner in Terrion Arnold in round one, and you get that vertical deep threat that you desperately need in round two and Troy Franklin. What do y'all think? Do you guys like it? Do you hate it? Do you just not like Mel Kiper? Who would you pick? Would you change it? You heard was who kind of was still on the board. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. And as always, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all those great things. The draft is 2 weeks away. We're going to have a little bit more content coming out for you guys. I'm excited. And as always, I love you. I know the Colts love you. I'm out.